they have really rectified some of these issues in Stage 2, but look, Order just far out. They really turned it on in this Clubhouse game. I was pretty impressed with some of the stuff they pulled out. Yeah, for sure. Now, Rob, do we have high expectations of Order now? Like, if they could do that, can they do anything? Like, how do you predict APAC South?
I don't know, man. I think you look back at their performances, they've taken down Elevate, Chiefs, and now IG, and really, the problem with APAC South is you just can't really determine what's going to happen on the day. I think best of ones are finicky at the best of times. So really, what I would love to see is Order make it through to the playoffs, and then we see how they go in best of threes against some of the best teams in the wider APAC. That might give us a better tale, so who knows?
Well, that's it. Now, it's been a pretty crazy ride for all of these teams, but yeah, to think that IG have, I think Xenox pulled the stat, lost 4 out of their most recent 5 games at a critical point for them. You know, they went to SI, they would have got all kinds of scrims over there in Paris. That was definitely a significant blow to take. But for Order, rocketing up from the bottom of the standings, a big win. Let's go chat to the man himself, Speca. What a game, brother! You looking a bit tight after that one. You must be pretty fired up.
Had to be done, you know. I love versing Invictus. We've got a bit of a history with them. Yeah, you know, just had to bring out the big guns for this show. You know, it's time for business to start crunching. And gentlemen, I think I filled that bill. So yeah, pretty fun.
Speca, I've got a 2-part question for you. I'll ask the first one, then I'll ask the second one. First one is, you needed those rehosts at the start to really kick you off, didn't you?
Oh, I mean, it was pretty funny, to be honest. Like, we'd been doing a fair bit of practice on Clubhouse as well. Like, we literally did, I think, like, 3 maps of Clubhouse over a warm-up scrim with different teams just before the match. And it was by chance club, so, you know, when you get that feeling that you're playing a certain map, and came on through, and I guess our prep worked, all the practice and all that jazz. But yeah, no, it was pretty awesome, eh? So...
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that you've kind of played... Yeah, it gave you a little bit more breathing room at the start.
Oh, I mean, everyone was just having a laugh, I suppose, at that point. It's just like, you know, they, I think, failed to choose the right operator. We failed to choose the right operator in the original one. I think the servers were hosted on East Asia, so we're playing on like 160 ping. We're like, hang on, guys. This feels a bit weird. Like, someone's not right.
Look, I'll ask you the second part of this question, and that is about your bans. You had the Thatcher Mav ban on your attack, and still you seemed to prevail with 3 rounds. What was it like? Did it impede you in that way? Because it looked like it did for IG.
No, not really for us. You know, I don't know. Like, we were practicing with Thatcher, without Thatcher. It's a bit of an impactful operator. It kind of changes the face of Clubhouse, so to speak. Flores isn't as effective on Clubhouse. Has some great use, don't get me wrong, but as far as like between him and Thatcher, Thatcher's definitely the more prominent one. However, you know, we of course had practice without that lineup, and we were ready for it to be up. And to have it be banned by Invictus, you know, it wasn't too concerning for us. But yeah, they seemed to really struggle. I saw them bring a shield. I think it was just for 1 round, I believe, potentially 2. I think it was just the one on Cash. Which didn't really work out for them, to be honest. Like, it would have been a bit of a tighter round, but I personally got a bit over-committal, a bit over-aggressive, and bled a pick where we were in a bit of an advantage situation. But yeah, it kind of slows down the whole match, doesn't it? Having that up if you're not really ready to deal with it, I suppose. Because having, I guess, Maverick or Thatcher, it's that instant clear, right? It's like, oh, well, you know, I guess what I'm doing for the first 40 seconds of the round, if I'm clearing Cash, you know, server, if I've got Mav up, just burning that wall open, you know? So to eradicate that, it kind of changes up the play style for the match, I believe. So that's what we did pretty much, yeah.
Yes, Becca, just a quick one for me. You guys jumping all the way into 4th with this victory now puts you in a very solid chance for locking in playoffs next week. I guess for the viewers, to wrap up your story, you know, you started the stage with really unfortunate losses and looked like you guys were struggling, but here you are kind of hitting some big form. Has there been any particular significant changes for you guys as a team as you've progressed through this stage?
Not necessarily, but at the end of the day, you have to remember that we do have these 2 new players coming on in. So I believe it's... we haven't really had a honeymoon period on this team of sudden explosion and growth. It's been a bit more consistent, where it's been kind of, you know, you're just slugging on through the mud, and it's not glamorous, it's not pretty, but it's progression nonetheless, and we're starting to finally see fruits of that, where we click really well, and it's really scary to verse. So I think that we're starting to finally get there, and we're starting to finally get to that point where we're actually, you know, a contending team as opposed to a developing team. So it's pretty exciting times ahead, I believe.
Yeah, well, next week your fate will be on the line. That spot on the major you're currently sitting in. See if you can retain it. You're going up against Knights, though, a fellow O's team. You think that's going to be a challenge? Do you think you can take them on?
Yeah, definitely. No, Knights, again, like, I'm pretty vocal about it. I don't really think there's a best Australian team. I just think it's whatever team wins on the day. Between, the 4 Australian teams, outside of Wildcard last season, because they had a bit of a gimped roster. But now they've got that addition of Milo coming in, they've kind of brought them back up to a more fighting stage. But I think potentially at the last stage, I would say yes, Chiefs and Knights had a bit of an advantage, but this stage I believe that it's getting a lot closer and closer. And I mean, we haven't versed Knights in some time, but we're feeling very confident for the match, and we're feeling very confident to take that away to secure our spot for playoffs. And it's what we're hungry for, so we'll get it done.
It's been a hot minute since you've been to LAN. I hope that you can make it again. Anything you want to say to Order, to the fans, to anybody out there as we close out today?
Yeah, well, massive shout out to everybody who watched the match today. Much love if you're supporting us, even more so. We couldn't be here without you. Again, to all the lovely production and yourselves and everyone just watching, much appreciated for you allowing us to do what we do and put on these entertaining matches for you. So thank you to all. Much love. And you know what, gentlemen, take it one day at a time. Keep that smile up, and that's it. Just keep on going on, boys.
Well, I'll see you next week then, Speca, after you beat Knights.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you there, mate.
Always a pleasure with that, man. Always a pleasure.